And I once came across this interview. I think we actually put it in the Deep Game of Kobe Bryant, a little movie that we put together. And Kobe said something really interesting. He said that the ability to not listen to the arguments of your mind, that to not negotiate with that voice in your mind, is actually what separates the people who do great things from those who never do great things or do great things inconsistently. Those who are consistently excellent and great and achieve like all-time great status, those are the people who win those negotiations in their mind. And what I would say much more accurately is that don't negotiate at all. Okay, this is the key to overcoming resistance, is that there's no negotiation whatsoever. When that resistance takes the form of rationalization and there's that voice in your mind telling you like, oh, maybe just take this day off, maybe just ease up. If it's like there's something on the schedule and you know you need to do it and your mind starts to talk you out of it, that mind is like the slickest lawyer or con man you've ever come across. Like it will come up with the most convincing, comforting, most well-articulated argument you could have ever imagined. And it will, if you allow it to talk you into doing something, it will do it. Like you will not win that negotiation, okay? So the cure for that is to simply get into motion. The cure for resistance and rationalization is to get in motion. When you hear that alarm clock go off and it's time to get out of bed, the cure for the resistance that you feel towards getting out of bed is to actually swing your legs over the side of the bed, get up and get moving. It's not to talk yourself into feeling good about getting going. Just do it no matter how you feel, right? Like get in motion and the feeling will follow. You'll feel much better as you go throughout that leg workout that you've been dreading. You'll feel much better about it. Your body will engage, your nervous system will engage with it, and you'll feel better after you get going. It feels the worst before you get started because you're dreading it, right? So motion is the antidote to resistance. At every stage, that 5-stage roadmap, whether you're getting started, getting momentum, and keeping momentum, whether you're like finally at that stage of breaking through, motion is the antidote to resistance. And so motion is what brings about breakthrough. And regardless of how you feel about it, what that voice in your mind is saying, the game is not to talk yourself into it and to hype yourself up and to motivate yourself. It's just simply to get moving. All right. Literally just get moving. Just do it, is the Nike slogan for a reason. It's like, no, just don't talk about it. Just do it. Okay. Turn your mind off, in other words. Another point of advice I'd like to give to you is that in the early stages especially, but at all stages of that roadmap to breakthrough that we outlined, make your criteria for success not how well the workout went, how many shots you made, or even how well you played in the pickup game. No. Your criteria for success, if you're serious about long-term breakthrough, your criteria for success is showing up. If you show up and do the work that you said you were going to do, that you know needs to be done, that is a success. If you didn't hit a personal record on that back squat, if you didn't shoot particularly well that day, that's secondary to actually showing up and doing the work. So as long as you show up, like this is an old trick of writers who deal with writer's block frequently. The trick to overcoming that writer's block is actually just to show up and start writing. And there's I think it's Neil Gaiman, actually. I think it's him. I could be wrong on that. But he has this rule for himself when he's writing that all he has to do is sit in the chair. He doesn't have to write, doesn't have to like create the story at all. His only rule is to sit in the chair and not do anything else. You don't have to write, but you can't do anything else. And he's found that simply showing up and like not even necessarily putting this high standard of expectation on the work that day, but just simply showing up that day is enough. And for long-term growth and long-term breakthrough, eventually, if you stay there long enough, the breakthrough happens. And so make your criteria of success simply showing up. The antidote to resistance is motion. I'll repeat this one more time. when you are waking up in the morning, the game is not to convince yourself that you are so motivated to get out of bed and you feel great and like, let's talk myself into getting out of bed. No, just get out of bed, regardless of how you feel. Before you have a cold shower or an ice bath, which I totally recommend, by the way, there will not be a single day that you want to get into the cold. If you try to talk yourself into getting into the ice bath or getting into the shower, you'll never get in. That voice will talk you right out of it. And you'll come up with any number of reasons to crank the temperature hot again and just be in that nice warm shower rather than the freezing cold shower that's going to stimulate recovery a lot better. So don't talk about it. Just get in. Shut your mind off and get in. Get in motion. That is the antidote to resistance. And well, finally, this comes to mind. Right now, I actually had a lot of resistance to recording these talks. There's a series of talks I'm giving today, and I had a ton of resistance towards doing it. I was thinking maybe I'll just go for a walk and like think about it. I actually had breakfast this morning. Maybe I'll give myself time to digest it, or there's some other work that I need to do. Maybe I'll just do that other work. Instead of all of that chatter in my mind, I just turned on this light, turned on the lights back there, turned on the camera and started talking. And there was a few takes that weren't so good. So I shut it off and started again. And I stayed in motion long enough. I think this is like the 4th or 5th take. And I just stayed in motion long enough. And finally, here we are at the end of this talk. And hopefully I have given you the roadmap to your next big breakthrough as a basketball player. Hey, it's Taylor. I hope you enjoyed this clip. And if you'd like to watch the full-length talk, we'll have the title and or link for you in the description so that you can check it out there. And as always, if you'd like to go even deeper, the best place to do that is in our free masterclass over at deepgame.com, which I believe will be the most powerful hour of basketball learning of your life. I hope we see you there.